folks, today I wanted to talk about Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. And thanks to PlayStation, who sponsored this video, I actually got a ton of hands-on time early with the game. So today what I want to do for you, in case you don't know, the open beta for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is coming to PS5 and PC from July 24th to July 26th. So I wanted to help you guys get a little bit ready. I wanted to go through every single character that's going to be available for you guys to play and show you what is their unique thing that sets them apart. Because I feel like that's one of the things that this game really succeeded with, was making every character have really unique aspects to them and instantly showing you, there's this special button in this game, the U button, that is like your universal character trait button. And just instantly by pressing that button, you'll get an idea of what your character wants to do. So we're going to go through the roster here. Let's start out with Captain America. So his unique button is going to throw his shield. I mean, I guess that makes sense, right? And then by holding different directions on the control stick, you can choose which direction you throw it. But to add even more complexity to this, you are able to bounce the shield around the screen by pressing the U button again. So you can create all kinds of crazy, tricky ricochet angles and do really wacky stuff with this shield. So I really like this mechanic. I think Captain America is a great beginner character. His moveset is not that complicated, but once you start bouncing this shield around, it can get really, really crazy. So yeah, definitely check him out. Next up, let's talk about Spider-Man. So I think to the surprise of no one, Spider-Man's unique mechanic is swinging around on his webs. So yeah, by holding a direction and pressing the U button, you will shoot your web out and you can pull yourself to it. So he has a lot of different ways to interact with this. He can do a follow-up attack by kicking when he's coming out of this by pressing the U button again. He can web hang by pressing up plus the U button, so he can hang from the ceiling and decide when he's going to fall, press different buttons on the way down. He can swing from the ceiling by holding up and pressing U in the air. And where it gets really tricky is when you start combining all of these. So you can do multiple of these web swings in kind of one series. So you can hang from the ceiling and then swing afterwards, then do a zip line. You can do all kinds of really crazy stuff. And mixing in attacks afterwards, you can create ridiculous mix-ups. So Spider-Man, he definitely feels very fast and fluid to control, but once you start getting a handle on his swinging mechanics, you can be really, really tricky and really mobile and agile, which is, that's what Spider-Man's all about. Is he's really fast, he's really in control of the skies by swinging from his webs. So I really enjoyed playing Spider-Man. Next up, there's Iron Man. So Iron Man, his U button fires repulsor blast, which, it's pretty normal. It's nothing too crazy, but his really unique mechanic is that he can cancel these repulsor blasts and any of his special moves into his free flight mode. So all of a sudden, once you start applying this, Iron Man becomes a very mobile character. If you just hold up during any attack, you will switch into flight mode, so you can use this to, start flying, get close to the opponent. You can use this for combos by, flying out of your attacks, then chasing the opponent and comboing after. You can use this for mix-ups when you're close to the opponent. You can fly, then they don't know whether they need to block high or low. I think he's a character that's very easy to pick up and play because of how easy it is to use this flight mode and because of how strong his special moves feel. But once you start going crazy with the flight mode, I think he can become very technical and very fun as well. So this is the character that I've played the most so far, and I really, really like him in this game. Another character I put a decent amount of time into was Storm. So Storm's special mechanic, you can see she has a unique meter, which is the Tempest meter. So by holding a direction and pressing U, she will shift the wind in that direction. And there are a lot of things that you can do with this. The more I play the character, the more I realize just how open-ended and creative this mechanic is. So you can put projectiles out on the screen, you can put ice or little tornadoes out on the screen and move them towards the opponent. You can move yourself. So, for example, when she's flying around in this little tornado, you can use the wind to change the trajectory, give it added speed. By the way, the powered-up version of this combined with the wind is just insane. This is like such a crazy get-in move. It goes like all the way across the full screen, can hit on the backside. Yeah, super crazy when you combine certain powered-up specials with the wind. She can extend the range of her command grab. Another crazy one is if you have a tornado out and then you do her super, that tornado becomes kind of a second super that's separate from her. You can move that around with the wind as well. You can use the wind to make yourself float higher. You can use it to land quickly from a jump and go for a low. Yeah, I feel like if you're the type of player where you like characters that reward creativity, reward, putting in time to, do things your own way, find your own unique setups. I think Storm has an insane number of them. I think you could play this character forever and still not figure out everything that's possible. So for that type of player, I think she's a fantastic fit, and she is very, very fun to play from the time that I've spent with her. Next up, we'll talk about Wolverine. So Wolverine is a very mauling, knockdown, drag out, rush down character in this game. Not very surprising based on what type of character Wolverine is in the comics. So his unique mechanic is called Berserker Rage. When he lands any of his U attacks, he will get this power-up state. You can see there's a little red glow around him, and this will power up his future U attacks one time. So he has different unique attacks that he can do. He has ones that are overhead, ones that are low, ones that are multi-hit, good for extending damage and combos. So you can land these moves one time, and you won't get a combo off them. You'll just get the powered-up state. But next time you land the move, you will get a combo. So you can do some creative stuff where you do a combo into his unique attacks, use an assist to combo off it. You got the Berserker Rage state activated, and then when you get the knockdown, you get that Okizeme mix-up setup on the waking up opponent. Then you can utilize that Berserker Rage buff. They'll have to guess which way you're going to hit. He also has an armored move that he can do that if you have the Berserker Rage buff, he gets a meterless combo off of that as well. So, he's very good at getting combos off of tricky overheads, tricky lows, absorbing attacks, that kind of thing. And he also has an armored special move. It is his quarter circle back medium, and that attack will have a hit of armor as well, or I believe 2 hits of armor. So he's great at just blasting through the opponent's attacks, getting in their face, and dealing really big damage off of various mix-ups. So I really, really liked playing Wolverine as well. I guess I've said that about every character so far, but it's really true. They do feel super powerful and unique. Next up, we're going to take a look at the Black Panther. Shuri in this game. Her unique mechanic is called Bast's Blessing. So similar to Storm, she has a unique gauge. This gauge fills up just by doing her normal attacks. So just by kind of rushing down and playing the game, you will passively fill up this gauge. She can also fill it up manually using her Divine Right. So this is kind of a shield attack that if you can fit this attack in when the opponent's not attacking you, you can build up the Bast's Blessing gauge much quicker. And then once this gauge is full, you can use one stock to do a dash, and you can dash in any direction. As you might expect, a lot of these unique attacks, you can hold the direction and press the U button to, change the direction. So you can cancel basically anything into this dash. And let me tell you, Wolverine is a fairly fast character, but he's a little more of like a bruiser. He's gonna power through your attacks and try to deal big damage that way. But Black Panther is a speed demon in this game, especially once you get Bast's Blessing gauge. She just flies around, and similar to Spider-Man, how he can combine his different movement with the web zips into one jump, she can do the same thing, deal multiple dashes. The opponent's never going to be able to see what you're doing because you're moving a million miles a second. So, yeah, she kind of feels like a character where you have 2 different modes of play. You have the play when you're trying to build up meter. You can sit back and throw more spears. You can be a little more grounded, a little bit, more reserved. And then once you build up a good amount of this gauge, you can really go crazy. It unlocks new mix-up potential. It unlocks new combos. And this character, I think, has a ton of power potential if you put time into learning how to best use the Bast's Blessing. Next up, Starlord. So his unique mechanic is he can switch guns. So his elemental gun has 4 different settings, kind of, I guess you could say. He's got the ice gun, which freezes the opponent. You can combo afterwards. He's got the fire gun, which is going to move this orb across the screen, and this you can also combo off of, but the fire orb is going to move a lot slower. He's got the stone gun, which actually will put up a shield and absorb other projectiles and then fire back, so this is very good against other projectile characters or in the Starlord mirror match. And he's got the lightning gun, which is your most standard kind of beam that's just good for controlling space and pressuring the opponent from full screen. So yeah, his guns are very strong. I think it makes him a good zoner, but he does also have flight mode and air dash similar to Iron Man, although unlike Iron Man, he can't just cancel any of his attacks into flight. So his rush down is going to be a little less crazy than Iron Man, I think, but his projectiles seem very, very strong, and he has a ton of combo potential thanks to his different elements. Next up, we'll take a look at Ms. Marvel. So her unique mechanic is her stretchy arms. So she can use the U button to extend her arms and pull herself across the screen. So if the attack doesn't hit the opponent, she'll just kind of grab the screen, I guess you could say, grab the edge of the screen and go flying after it. But if it does hit the opponent, you will pull yourself into them. If you use this move from range, you'll actually be at advantage after this, even if the opponent blocks. So she's a character who's really good at closing the distance and getting in the opponent's face. And once she gets in, she has an overhead and she has a command grab. So she's very powerful up close. So a good strategy with her is kind of, get the opponent blocking, push yourself away. Actually, you want to build a little bit of distance so that you can use that long range grab to keep your advantage, get back in, mix up the opponent. If they manage to block your mix up, you can use like an assist to keep the pressure going. Again, build yourself some distance so that you can keep advantage after pulling yourself back in, and repeat. So you can really stay on top of the opponent, not give them any move to breathe, and be very oppressive as a rushdown character with Ms. Marvel. Next up, Magik has a very interesting, unique mechanic. It's going to be her portal. So she can put a portal out on the screen, and you can see when she walks close enough to the portal, it will expand in size. And that basically tells you, okay, this portal is now interactable when it's big like that. So she has multiple different things that she can do with the portals. She can teleport through them. So you can basically do any attack, and then if you're next to the portal, you can teleport into the portal, and you'll come out and basically, let yourself continue your pressure by going through the portal and coming out. She can also throw projectiles into the portal. So if she throws a fireball in, it's going to come out behind the opponent, which is very tricky and very nasty to deal with. She also has this fire pillar that if that goes through the portal, it's going to come back down on top of the opponent. This is really, really good for combos. You can do really crazy stuff with this. So yeah, I feel like she's kind of like a setup type character. Once you start using these portals, you can get multiple portals out on the screen and use them to protect yourself. If ever leave yourself vulnerable, if you have a portal there, you're always safe if you manage to teleport through it. And she can also do very tricky mix-ups as well by throwing projectiles in there. I really, really like the way this character's portals work, but I think it's going to take a little bit of time to really figure out the maximum potential with them. Similar to Storm, I think she's a character with infinite room for creativity. Or you can just swing your giant sword at people and deal really big damage. So she can really be played both ways. Next up is Peni Parker. Her unique mechanic is summoning her spider drones. So this is a purely random mechanic. She has a ton of different spider drones that attack in different ways. She has ones that shoot up at the sky, ones that are like floating bombs that'll hit the opponent, ones that will bind the opponent up in wires if they shoot them. They all have very different utilities. And I think an important skill with this character is going to be, throwing out your drone, seeing which one it is, and reacting with the proper setup to control the opponent based on what drone you happen to get. She does have one other mechanic, which is that if you land her 100-meter super, you are guaranteed to get this falling spider drone. Normally, you have a random chance to get that drone, but if you do her 100-meter super first, you're guaranteed to get it. And this one is very strong. And it hides kind of a lot of what you're doing because the spider is so big. So I feel like it's a good strategy to try to build up a lot of meter, do this super, and then drop the giant spider on the opponent. I really like this drone mechanic. And Penny, it's a good idea to just try to throw as many of these as you can. The little meter in the lower left indicates when your drone is off cooldown. So yeah, throw out a bunch of them. They seem really, really strong to me. Next up, we've got Danger. Her unique attack puts out these 3 little orbs. So these orbs will just float there. They don't really do anything until you interact with them. So if you shoot them with her laser, you shoot it once and it'll power up, and then you shoot it again and it will activate. It will fire a homing laser in at the opponent. So yeah, while you're already zoning the opponent off with your lasers, you can kind of add additional projectiles by aiming your projectiles at these little orbs. And she can also fire a missile at them. If she does, they will explode. So you can use this mid combo. You can do really, really crazy stuff. You can also teleport to these orbs. It also powers up her level 1 super as well. So this all of a sudden, makes your super have extra hits at the beginning, which really increases the combo potential. So again, this is a character who I think can be played very simply if you just want to hang back, throw projectiles, annoy the opponent, start mixing that in with her dash, which makes her airborne for a high-low mix-up. You can play her that way quite simply, but once you start using these drones, once you get really good at maximizing the potential of these drone follow-up attacks, again, her potential really, really unlocks, and she becomes quite a tricky character to deal with all the projectiles flying around the screen, all the extra frame advantage she gets, and her mobility using her teleport. Next up is Ghost Rider, and his unique mechanic is called the Vengeance Gauge. It is that little speedometer-looking thing in the lower left. So basically, whenever you use a fire attack, it will increase this gauge. And so the higher you are in this gauge, the more powerful his special moves become. So in Zone 1, they're just normal. In Zone 2, they are slightly enhanced. And then in the red zone, they become very powerful. They actually become basically on par with an empowered special move, like a 25-meter powered-up special move. He basically gets that for free while he's in the red zone. But the problem is he can overheat. So if you go too far, you'll overheat, and you won't be able to do any of these fire moves until the gauge cools back down again. So he's definitely kind of a gauge management character. His unique attack will cause him to swing the chain around, and this recovers a lot of his zone gauge, his vengeance gauge. So I think a good strategy is kind of get the vengeance gauge really high, then bring it back down with his unique attack, get it high again, use the powered up specials, but then heal the gauge, then use another powered up special, that kind of thing. Just keep the vengeance gauge in the right zone so that you can maximize how many powered up specials you're getting. Because yeah, these moves start to do a lot of damage when they're powered up. You can see this chain swinging attack. It only does like a few hits in the lower levels of the gauge, but now in the red zone, look, this move becomes kind of insane in the red zone, and all his special moves are really like that. So yeah, don't let yourself overheat, and Ghost Rider becomes extremely powerful. Next up is the Master of Magnetism, Magneto. And Magneto has a few different unique mechanics. One of them is going to be his debris. So by using his unique attack, he can throw debris on the screen. And as you can see, it will just kind of float there indefinitely. Something I really like is that the type of debris it is visually is determined by what stage you're on. So like on the Xavier Mansion, it's got like the kids' bicycles and stuff in it. But on different stages, there will be different stuff that's appropriate to the stage. So his different attacks are powered up based on having debris out. So for example, his command throw will do massively more damage if you have debris. His super as well, multiple of his special moves will either get more frame advantage or more damage when you have debris active. So it's very strong. And he also has a magnetism mechanic. Utilizing his charged heavy punch, he can magnetize the opponent, and you can see they will get little lines on them to indicate that they're magnetized, and then you can pull them towards you using your command grab and yoink the opponent. So he has both these mechanics to manage, and I think he's a very strong projectile character, but once you get that magnetism going, you can get in there and be tricky with Rushdown as well. So I really like Magneto's new direction in this game, and it's going to take a little bit of time to figure out the potential of his magnetism and of his debris, but I think he seems very interesting and strong so far. Next up is Dr. Doom. So Dr. Doom's unique mechanic is going to be this shield. So this shield will block projectiles, which is quite nice. It can be destroyed by normal attacks, but you can also put it out in front of you or behind the opponent, and this is very good for combos. You can also hold it down to add additional hits. So, you can control neutral with this, block them from winning projectile wars, or you can use this for some really, really cool combo stuff. You can also put it down on top of an opponent, dash through them for mix-ups. Again, there's a lot of creativity potential with this that I feel is not fully explored yet, but I'm really curious to see what people come up with for Dr. Doom. He seems like a very high potential character and really fun to play. And oh my god, have I really done all the characters already? That went so fast. So yeah, that's everyone except for one. I believe Blade will also be playable in the beta, but I have not had the chance to play Blade yet, so unfortunately I don't have any insider info for you on that one. But otherwise, I'm curious to hear down in the comments which characters are you guys most interested in trying. Again, I feel like these unique mechanics just really show the characters' expressiveness. It shows, what are these characters designed to do? What makes them stand out? You can instantly tell utilizing this unique attack button. So I'm curious which mechanics interest you and who you're thinking about trying. So let me know down in the comments. Thank you once again to PlayStation for sponsoring this video, and get ready because Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls will be available for play on PS5 and PC via Steam from July 24th to the 26th before the official release. So you're not going to want to miss that. Make sure you guys check out the beta, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.